Hi, aloha, and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. So, today I'm going to be talking about 3 traits of a super empath. And the reason I chose this subject is because I wanted to talk more about a super empath because I teach empaths and I get a lot of empath questions. And on this particular label, this particular subject, I've gotten a lot of questions on what is a super empath? Am I a super empath? Can I be a super empath? That sort of thing. And so I thought it was a really good thing to discuss because, first of all, I don't like labels. Like, labels are, to me, they hinder a progress, especially when it comes to your spiritual and psychic senses. Because then now you're categorizing yourself into maybe you can be or maybe can't be, might be unreachable, might be reachable. I just feel like it causes a lot of blocks. And truth be told, when it comes to your psychic senses, a lot of people like to label things where labeling's not necessary. So they label as a higher, a super empath or like a clairvoyant, clairaudient, and when they label themselves, let's just take some of your other psychic senses like clairvoyance, clairaudience, that sort of thing. When you label yourselves as that, a lot of times I find that people are then dismissing other abilities that they will probably develop because they kind of come as a package deal. And I feel like when people are labeling themselves, they are basically focusing on an area that they're stronger in at the time. But just labeling yourself in an area that you're stronger in at the time, a lot of times then causes people to discount that they may have abilities in other areas or they may have gifts in other areas. And that's why I don't like labeling, because I feel like if you again label yourself in one area, I feel like you're saying, well, you're creating an identity, right? Or a spiritual identity of this is who I am, but you're probably a lot more than that. And so that's what I do not love about the labeling. And not to mention, like I said, those are usually to different degrees. You're stronger in this area, or stronger in that area. And so a super empath, an empath, as you know, we've talked about this just bazillions of times, is one of your psychic senses, your clairsentience. It's one of your abilities. And if you're an empath, most likely you probably already know it. If you're wondering if you're an empath, I have that empath quiz below, so you can go ahead and take that. It's a super good quiz. But anyways, now some of you who are empaths might be wondering, am I a super empath? So let's talk about what a super empath is. A lot of people label super empaths differently, but it makes it sound like this is a super grandiose achievement that you will get to, where in some aspects that may be true, but it's not like you're better than other empaths. It more means that you have a better handle on your ability and that you're able to use the ability to a more full extent, I guess I would say. Because all of your abilities will come with perks to them, reasons that you have them, and they will come with benefits, I guess I would say. We don't just have abilities to kind of wreak havoc in our life, and it can feel like that sometimes. So you will have abilities that are that you've been gifted to enhance your life, and that's really part of the purpose. That's what I teach about, is your abilities are meant to enhance your life. Your empath ability is no different. It is meant to enhance your life as well. So let's talk about the 3 traits of a super empath. One of the first traits is that as a super empath, what you've really learned to do is you've learned to manage your ability well. You've learned to create balance. You've learned how to work with your ability. You've become more of a trained empath, is what that means. You have managed to learn your ability well. You've learned about how your ability works with all energies. You've learned to recognize different energies and how they affect you. Because the other thing with being an empath is not all energies are going to affect all empaths the same way. So you may be more sensitive to people energy than I am, or I may be more sensitive to universal energy than you are, that sort of thing. And this type of stuff I do go over in my class because I think that it's really important for you to understand an empath ability is not any different than your other clairs in the regards that you're going to have a different combination or different strengths among that ability. An empath ability has a lot of legs to it. It has a lot of components to it. And so that's why I kind of created a class all on its own on that one, is because of all the legs to it. And now these legs, you're going to have a different combination of this ability than, say, any other empath that you know. You're going to be stronger in some areas and weaker in other areas. And it's really important for you to figure out what areas you're stronger in and what areas that you're not so strong in, because that's how you learn to manage your ability. Is you want to learn how to keep moving and creating a nice solid foundation in the areas you're stronger in, and then the areas that you're weaker in, you want to do somewhat similar, but you want to create strength in those areas. You want to learn how to manage your ability really well in those areas. And so that starts to create an empath balance. It starts to create a technique where you're able to manage your abilities better when you're learning what your strengths are as far as your empath stuff goes, and then you're learning where your weaknesses are. And so that's really, really important. And that comes with training, and it comes with learning how to manage your ability well. And that then in turn, it circles around to where you feel healthier and you feel stronger and you don't feel as affected in a negative sense when you're around certain types of energies or all energies, to start learning how to manage that better. And so that leads you into being able to work more with the positive aspects of having an empath ability. And that's why managing your ability well would be trait number one of a super empath. You have learned to manage your ability. You've learned where your strengths are. You're learning to strengthen your weaknesses. You've learned about balance. You're very familiar with your ability. And that kind of leads us into the empath trait number two, which is understanding exactly what your specific empath ability does. And also then learning what kind of generally empath abilities can do and why we have it and how it enhances our lives, and how that you can use this ability to work with energy. How can you use this to enhance your overall life experience? Because that's where you get into really understanding and knowing what your ability does, how that your thoughts become energy, how that you work with energy around you, how energy moves, how it's moving in and out of your life, how you're blocking energy, how that you are creating energy, which is really, really important. Because one of the things that I have found that why they call people super empaths, is basically because of a very simple empath trait, which is our trait number three. We're kind of going through these sort of fast. Is empaths are extremely powerful manifestors. And that creates, I guess, when you manage the ability well, when you understand how to work with your energy, and you understand how powerful that you are as a manifester, it's all sort of a package deal. That is your superpower. That is your super empath ability. So any empath truthfully has the ability to be a super empath. Absolutely 100%. If you're an empath, you are born with the ability to become a super empath, or what I would more like to refer to as really good with your gift. So if you're born with a gift, you have the opportunity to become really good at it, right? So just like when you have the natural ability to play sports, you also have the opportunity to become really, really good at, whatever sport you're interested in. And I guess that would mean that the natural ability to be athletic. If you direct that gift towards a particular sport, you have the natural ability to become really, really good at that sport, but you need to learn about the game that you're interested in, the rules. You need to practice and really be aware of some things that you're doing in regards to that sport, right? Those things are important. If you are wanting to become a super empath, or if you're wanting to learn how to work with your ability in a way that is enhances your life quite a lot, then you're needing to learn a lot about your craft and your ability. You're needing to learn a lot about the positive aspects of it and how it can enhance your life. And then you need to learn how to work with those abilities, and you need to learn how to manage those abilities and how to enhance those abilities. So it's truly, truly understanding what your gift is. It's truly understanding what becoming a powerful empath is. And so when people talk about, I want to become a super empath, I like to refer to it as more of an empowered empath, because I feel, and although I may be mistaken, but I feel like becoming a super empath is kind of like you have a superpower of some sort or something. And so people, again, then they separate themselves from their gift a little bit, and they separate themselves from just other people who have it. And I feel like you want to embrace it as a whole package deal. I feel like that you should embrace it as not separating yourself from your gift, and really embracing it as part of who you are and part of what the gift is all about. Embracing the gift itself and learning more about what the gift can do and how it can be helpful and how it can enhance your life and that sort of thing. So it's learning about the gift. It is understanding that you have this very, very powerful ability to work with energy. And it's a natural ability that not everybody has. And this super powerful ability to work with energy naturally then sets you up to become a very powerful manifester. Now, the thing with this is that you really want to pay attention to is, because you're a powerful manifester that has a very positive tune to it, right? You should always remember that that can go both ways. It really can go both ways. So you might be really understanding your gift, and you might be managing it pretty well. But if you truly understand your gift, you'll also want to know that you can manifest things in both the positive and a negative direction. And that part, again, comes with the training aspect, because we're surrounded by a lot of people who, and a lot of negative frequencies, negative thinkers, and just negative things going on, negative conversations. Not necessarily everybody doing it on purpose. It just happens to be a vibe that you're surrounded by 70% of the time. And if you're not careful, because you're such a powerful manifester as an empath, you can then manifest things that might be based out of fear and worry as well. And so that's something that you're going to want to watch out for as an empath. But then, truthfully, like that's really not managing your ability well if you kind of go that route, right? So you want to understand it, manage it, realize you're a powerful manifester, and that you can manifest a lot of things in your life. You can manifest negative things, and you can manifest super positive things. And being aware of it and how you do it, and how all that process unfolds, and how, even if you're listening to this right now and you don't feel like you're an empowered empath, but you know you're an empath, you're most likely being a powerful manifester as we speak. So the powerful manifester part is not necessarily specifically for super empaths. It actually is a trait that comes with empaths, but learning how to be a powerful manifester in a positive aspect, that's a super empathic trait, right? So you'll have the ability to be this pretty powerful manifester anyways, and that's where you're really going to want to learn how to do these things. So I feel that you should want to become an empowered empath and become a super empath, if that's what you want to call it, simply for the fact of your quality of life and using this gift for good and positive things and enhancement, and just really learning how to work with the best qualities of your gift, right? Just that's where I feel that you should do that. And that's why I talk about becoming an empowered empath all the time and how you can do that and the steps to doing that. Is because, like I said, most likely you're manifesting now. If your life is kind of set up in a way that you're not feeling really great about it, you'll want to know these other steps so that you can then manifest things in a different manner. Because truth be told, you've had a hand of manifesting where you are at today in the past. You've been doing it. You're working on manifesting right now for the future. So just because you have an empath ability, that's kind of what you're doing. The strength of it is stronger. You're working towards that direction. And so you want to learn how to sort of navigate that path. You want to learn how to navigate that path in a very positive way instead of letting the path kind of navigate you out of fear and worry, right? So anyways, hopefully that you found this helpful. As an empath, you have really strong traits anyways, but if you want to become more empowered, you'll want to learn how to manage them. You'll want to learn exactly how to work with them in a positive manner, and you will want to learn how to become a powerful manifester towards getting things that you truly want to draw into your life. And that's kind of a package deal. Management, truly understanding it, and then consciously manifesting instead of non-consciously or unconsciously manifesting, which a lot of empaths do. And that's why I say if you're not happy with where you're at right now, you've probably been unconsciously manifesting up until this point. And we want to get you to the point where you're consciously manifesting, okay? So hopefully you found this helpful. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe. Stop over to my spirit community, totally free. You can check out my empath courses if you're interested in learning more. But take the quiz if you don't know if you're an empath. And I think that you'll find that super helpful. It's a really good quiz. Until next time, have the most amazing day. Aloha.